I saw this headline online recently, and it was framed so dramatically. It was like, Jungkook reveals everything, the video they tried to ban.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it had this super tense vibe. You know, like the teasers dropped, the fandom went silent, and the whole pop world was turned upside down.
Right. They really go for that cinematic tension.
Exactly. But, I mean, beneath all that clickbait, there is this incredible true story. Imagine breaking global streaming records, putting a blockbuster movie in over 120 countries, and just dominating the Billboard charts for 2 straight years. You're at the absolute center of pop culture, right? Pulling in billions of streams. But physically, you are completely off the grid.
Yeah.
Carrying a rifle, serving a mandatory stint in the South Korean military.
It's a profound paradox, really.
It really is. Okay, let's unpack this. Today's Deep Dives is taking us into a stack of entertainment news articles, global streaming data reports, and official press releases, all centered around BTS member Jungkook. And our mission today is to explore how an artist at the absolute peak of a group's success navigates that terrifying jump to solo stardom, and of course the staggering numbers that follow.
What's fascinating here is that what makes this deep dive so compelling isn't just the sheer volume of records broken. I mean, the numbers are huge.
Yeah, they really are.
But it's the stark contrast between the artist's internal vulnerabilities, which he's very open about, and his external, historic, commercial dominance.
Right, and that vulnerability is the perfect place to start, because we're looking at this new documentary, which is titled Jungkook, I Am Still, and it released in theaters worldwide on September 18th, 2024. Japan got it a little later on October 4th.
Yeah.
And the whole premise is this 8-month journey of him producing his debut solo album, Golden.
And, you know, we should probably clarify what an 8-month journey actually looks like at this echelon of the music industry.
Oh, yeah, please do, because it's not just like hanging out in a studio.
No, not at all. Golden wasn't just a passion project recorded in someone's bedroom. It was a massive, highly orchestrated international rollout.
Right.
I mean, we're talking about an album engineered for absolute global saturation. The features alone are wild. He collaborated with Lotto, Jack Harlow, DJ Snake, Usher, and Charlie Puth.
See, and that's the part that kind of trips me up.
How so?
Because I'm looking at that roster of collaborations, and I'm genuinely confused by the narrative of the documentary.
Ah, I see what you mean.
Right. Because if you have Usher and DJ Snake answering your calls, and you are already a core member of BTS, which is arguably the biggest pop group on the planet, why are you insecure? You're literally standing at the top of the mountain. Your armor should be impenetrable at that point.
You would think so, right?
Yeah.
But the psychology of being in a massive group is actually incredibly complex.
How so? Like, wouldn't it just give you more confidence?
Well, when you're a member of BTS, you are part of a global phenomenon, yes, but it operates like a well-oiled machine.
Okay, I'm with you.
The members rely on each other's strengths. They share the burden of the spotlight. What the documentary captures is that terrifying realization of having to step out of that machine and hold the entire stage completely alone.
Wow, yeah, I didn't think about it like that. It's not about lacking fame, it's about lacking the safety net.
Exactly.
There's this one specific quote from the trailer that I think really drives that home. He says, I've never thought of myself as a genius. I just know the areas that I lack in. So I strive to be better too. I just follow my compass.
Yeah, that's a really powerful moment.
It is. He's literally looking into the camera, openly questioning if he will get any recognition outside of the boy band. He shows this raw fear, and he heavily credits the fan base, the R&Y, for firing him up when he doubts himself.
And we have to recognize how rare it is for an artist at the absolute pinnacle of the industry to transparently document this level of unfiltered doubt.
Usually they just want you to think it's all easy.
Right. Pop stars usually manufacture this sense of effortless cool. They want you to believe they just woke up like this, that success is their default state.
Yeah, totally.
But Jungkook goes the complete opposite route here. He shows the exhausting, sometimes really demoralizing effort it takes to build a solo identity from scratch, even when you're already famous.
You know, it reminds me of, it's like a legendary athlete leaving a dynasty championship team to go play an entirely different sport.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
Right. Like, you have the rings, you have the legacy, but now you have to prove you can swing a baseball bat instead of throwing a football, and you're terrified you're going to strike out on live TV.
Yes.
How rare is it for an industry machine to actually let their artists show that kind of weakness?
Well, it is a massive gamble because you do risk looking weak to the general public. But with a dedicated fan base, it creates a totally different dynamic.
It builds loyalty.
Exactly. By releasing this documentary, it's a highly calculated but deeply authentic way to humanize a megastar.
Right. It takes it from being just a product to like a shared experience.
Yes, he turns his solo debut from a slick corporate rollout into a personal emotional journey that fans are invited to share in.
Which makes them root for him even harder.
Exactly.
Which brings us to the actual results. Because that fear he documented, the worry that he couldn't pull it off alone, the data provides a staggering categorical yes. He definitely pulled it off alone.
A historic yes.
Let's talk about the box office for the documentary first.
Okay, let's do it.
Because Event Cinema, which is basically what this is, a limited release music doc, it usually doesn't pull massive numbers.
No, it's very niche play usually.
Right. But I am still just shattered records immediately. On opening day in South Korea, it earned the highest opening day box office by a K-pop act in 2024. It pulled in $223,387 USD just on day one.
Just day one.
And it translated stateside, too. In North America, it hit number 9 at the box office over the weekend with $1.42 million. And when you factor in the Wednesday previews, that total hit $2.57 million.
That's incredible for a limited release.
And internationally, it grossed $5.6 million from Wednesday to Sunday across 114 territories.
You know, to put that into perspective, generating $5.6 million in just 5 days for a music documentary playing on a highly restricted screening schedule.
Yeah.
That requires an intense, deeply mobilized audience turning out en masse. It just proves the sheer density of the fan demand.
Well, the Korean media has actually started referring to him as K-pop's lone record maker and also a record factory, which I just love.
Record Factory is very accurate when you look at his streaming data.
Oh, absolutely. The Spotify numbers completely justify it. He is the first and only K-pop soloist to have 19 songs surpass 100 million streams on Spotify.
19, that's...
And get this, all 18 of his original solo releases have cleared that mark, every single one.
Every single one hit 100 million.
Yep. And his track, Yes or No, recently surpassed 300 million streams. That's his 8th solo track to do that. Or 9th if you count his BTS solo Euphoria.
Which is wild. But the true juggernaut, the one that really rewrote the rules, is his track 7.
Oh man, 7. The numbers on that are just hard to comprehend. It reached over 2.5 billion streams on Spotify.
2.5 billion.
Billion with a B. First K-pop solo track to ever do that. And on the charts, it stayed on the Billboard Global 200 for 113 weeks.
Yeah.
And the Global XLOE US chart for 114 weeks, which is the longest ever for an Asian solo act.
It's historic.
But okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. And I actually want to push back a little bit on these numbers.
Okay, lay it on me.
When we see a track hit 2.5 billion streams and stay on a chart for over 2 years, I have to ask about the how. Because K-pop fandoms, and especially the BTS Armyver, are famously hyper-organized.
Right.
They have streaming parties, they map out strategies, they mobilize to achieve specific chart goals. So my question is, do these massive streaming numbers reflect true mainstream crossover appeal, or is it simply a testament to the hyper-organized, mobilized power of the RMI?
That is the central debate in modern pop music analytics right now.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
Huh.
How much is organic public interest and how much is engineered by the fandom? And to understand it, we actually need to look at the specific charts you just brought up.
Okay.
So the Billboard Global 200 tracks worldwide streaming and sales, but the Billboard Global exclude US chart deliberately strips out the American market to measure pure international saturation.
Got it.
It tells us what the rest of the planet is listening to outside of the American pop machine.
So staying on that specific chart for 114 weeks means the song is just blanketing the globe.
Exactly. And to address your pushback directly,
Yeah.
a highly mobilized fandom is absolutely the foundational engine. The fandom is the reason the song debuts at number 1.
Right. They do the initial heavy lifting.
Exactly. They build the launch pad, they coordinate the initial buying, and they drive those massive opening week metrics.
Okay.
But fandom power alone, no matter how organized or dedicated they are, cannot sustain a track on a global chart for 114 consecutive weeks.
It's just because of the sheer volume of new music coming out.
Yes. The math simply doesn't allow for it. New music drops every Friday. Even the most dedicated fans get fatigued or shift their focus to other releases from the group.
That makes sense.
So, to accumulate 2.5 billion streams and stay charting for over 2 years requires something beyond fandom mobilization. It requires significant penetration into the general public's listening habits.
So it actually is crossing over.
Very much so. Seven achieved this by landing on massive, mood-based playlists. We're talking coffee shop mixes, workout playlists, algorithmic radio stations on Spotify and Apple Music.
Oh, I see. So casual listeners are just letting it play in the background, or it pops up on their algorithmic shuffle, and they don't even necessarily know it's Jungkook from BTS.
Precisely. The fandom builds the rocket and gets it into the atmosphere.
I love that analogy.
But it's the mainstream algorithmic appeal, the fact that it is a genuinely catchy, well-produced pop song that keeps the rocket in orbit for 2 years.
Right. It reaches escape velocity and just takes on a life of its own. But this actually brings us to a massive logistical problem that I am really struggling to wrap my head around.
Okay.
So the song is still charting. The documentary just rolled out in 120 countries.
Yeah.
The agency is dropping all these new versions of the movie, but the artist who is supposed to be promoting all of this, the face of the whole operation, isn't actually active right now.
No, he is not.
He's not doing press junkets. He's not doing late-night interviews.
Because he enlisted in the South Korean military on December 12th, 2023.
Exactly.
He joined the 5th Infantry Division alongside his bandmate Jimin. And he isn't expected to be discharged until June 11th, 2025.
So that's what I'm saying. I am looking at this timeline, and it is wild. How do you have a song pulling billions of streams, a global theatrical release happening in September 2024, and then even more stuff dropping later in the year if the guy's been in a military uniform since December 2023?
Well, what you're looking at is a masterclass in what the industry calls content banking.
Content banking. Okay, break that down for me.
So before he enlisted, Jungkook and his agency, BIGHI Music, didn't just record an album and call it a day.
Right.
They meticulously engineered a staggered pipeline of pre-recorded releases. It's designed to ensure that he never truly disappears from the public eye, even when he is physically incapable of working.
It's like a chess grandmaster making moves that won't actually play out on the board for another 2 years.
That's a perfect way to describe it.
Yeah.
They built this automated cultural flywheel. They wound it up with 8 months of intense, grueling labor, and now the machine just dispenses targeted content on a perfect delay.
That is just brilliant scheduling.
Let's look at how they spaced it out. They did the initial theatrical film release in mid-September.
Right.
Then, once that initial box office run started to naturally cool down, they didn't just let it fade away. They rolled out a party edition of the movie on October 11th.
And the sources say this party edition featured 20 extra minutes of sing-along videos, which is just genius.
It really is.
Because it monetizes repeat viewing. You give the hardcore fans a fresh reason to go back to the theater a second or third time. It turns a standard movie screening into like a communal concert experience.
Exactly. It creates a brand new event out of existing material. But they didn't stop at the box office.
Right, there's more.
They also prepared a massive streaming asset. They're dropping a 3-part expanded documentary series called The Original, and that goes to Disney Plus on December 3rd, 2024.
So they took the footage from the movie and just expanded it.
Vastly expanded it, yeah.
Yeah.
The Disney Plus series includes unreleased interviews, brand new behind-the-scenes clips, and a full live stage performance.
Wow.
They took one 8-month period of work recording, shooting videos, rehearsing, having cameras follow him constantly, and stretched its cultural impact across a multi-year timeline.
When you really think about the sheer physical stamina required during those 8 months before he enlisted, it's mind-blowing.
It's a staggering amount of work.
He was essentially doing 3 years' worth of work in less than a year. He had to record the music, film the movie, shoot a 3-part documentary, and perform the live stages, all knowing he wouldn't be around to actually promote any of it when it released.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it completely redefines the modern pop star's life cycle.
How so?
Well, historically in the K-pop industry, and really in global music in general, a military hiatus, or any extended break, really was seen as a career death sentence.
Right, because the public just moves on so fast.
Exactly. It was this period of dangerous silence. You speed away for 2 years, and someone younger and newer took your spot.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly. But what Jungkook and his agency have done is transform that hiatus into a fully programmed era of its own.
Right.
The military break is no longer a pause button. By rationing out these high-quality pre-recorded releases, they're keeping the fans deeply engaged and keeping the brand highly profitable.
All while the artist is entirely absent. It really shifts the power dynamic, doesn't it? The artist doesn't have to be physically present, burning themselves out 365 days a year to maintain their grip on the culture.
As long as the content pipeline is built with enough foresight, the machine works for them.
Yeah, and it lets the audience experience his solo journey in very deliberate phases. First the music, then the theater event, then the deep dive streaming series.
It's a sustained narrative that keeps the momentum going right up until his discharge in 2025.
It's an incredible architectural feat of entertainment management. So, to summarize this whole journey we've mapped out today, we have an artist who took this immense, almost paralyzing fear of stepping out of the shadow of BTS, a vulnerability he actually chose to openly share, and he channeled it into a grueling 8-month creative blitz. And that blitz solidified him as a lone record maker, shattering streaming and box office records, breaking through to mainstream algorithmic success, and generating enough premium material to sustain his global presence while he serves in the military.
He basically turned his biggest insecurity into an automated empire.
Which leaves us with a truly fascinating prospect to consider.
Which is?
Well, I'll let you take this one because you brought this up before we started recording and it blew my mind.
Okay. Well, we've spent this entire deep dive analyzing how Jungkook achieved this historic level of global dominance, the billions of streams, the international box office records.
Right.
And he did all of that while carrying the heavy doubts and imposter syndrome of a debut solo artist.
Right. This was a version of him that wasn't even sure if he could do it without the group.
Precisely. So if Jungkook was able to achieve this unprecedented level of solo success while questioning his own talent and battling raw insecurity, what will happen to the global music landscape when he returns in 2025? Fully confident in his power as a standalone superstar.
Oh man, that is the question. We'll just have to wait and see. That's the deep dive for today. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next one.